Okay, thank you. I have so my the topic is exploring the future of banking, and I've been trying to understand, or I've been trying to really get into be the seer and just project how the future is going to look like. Because I remember 5 or 7 years ago, I went for a presentation in South Africa, and a question was posed as traditional banks, who do we think our fiercest competitor is going to look like? Who are these people? At that point, I think the word fintech neobanks had not even been created yet. So we got into the conversation by saying our fiercest competitors are telcos, and we really couldn't even envisage at that point that the banking sector was just going to be distracted as it is. And for me, I see it as as one of the beautiful things that is happening in the financial services sector, which has taken something that was traditionally belonged to a certain set of group of people and was niched, and we couldn't believe that it could go get into other communities, and the inclusiveness of what we're seeing could happen. But now we are here, so it makes it quite difficult. And in that meeting, I for one was person that said, I believe our fiercest competitor as a bank, as we moving along, will be our client. Meaning that anyone who has experienced banking and is looking for a transformational way of service in terms of financial services will be our competitor in terms of disrupting it, because we are in a world where people will not accept the minimum. And as technology and as new things come, Internet of Things and other things are developed, we just had to be nimble and fast in changing. So we stop becoming like that elephant that takes forever to roll. And I think we are here. So projecting into 2030, I don't know. But I'll attempt to just for some thoughts that I have. There's a video that I want to show just to also bring to bear where we have been as a bank, how traditional banks, or the word banking, has actually evolved. You might not get the language, but let me start. Please let me know if you can see the video playing. Ja, for penger til en kompis. Vi betalte regninga med brevgiro. Brevgiro? Da jeg var ung, så måtte jeg gå. Hva du holder på med? Ja, for penger til en kompis. Vi betalte regninga med brevgiro. Brevgiro? Da jeg var ung, så måtte jeg gå til banken. Ja. Stå i kø og vente. Det kunne gå mer enn 20 minutter da, før jeg fikk overført penger til husleien. 20 minutter? Det er fort det. Da jeg var ung, og vi skulle gjøre opp med huseieren, så måtte vi stå opp før sola. Det så for øvrig aldri så, for det regnet hele tida. Der framme i banken så var det så kalde med hendene at vi måtte jo vente en time. Da kunne jeg bruke dem til å undertegne på overføringen. Overføring? Da jeg var ung, måtte pengene overleveres. Det første. Det bakka, og det med livet spiser. For å komme frem til banken. Og så måtte jeg jo hjem igjen i frostbrøyk, så tjukk at man knapt så noe for det. Og det var noen sommer. 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 Spesibarn. Så som var litt koselig å være at hver gang jeg kom tilbake, så hadde jeg fått en bra. Men han rakk. Jeg måtte jo rekke neste husleie. Sånn var det da jeg var ung. Og så sitter dere der og syter. Thank you very much. Um, I just wanted to show how far we've come and to also just note that banking has really evolved from different centuries, and this is where we are. This is what is considered where we are is actually the future for some maybe generations some time ago. Um, we currently are living in a very drastically transformed world where banking has been unbundled to this extent where all the people, all the names you see here, one way or the other, is offering banking services. And banking being the word that signify like a stable table. That's I think it's an Italian word. And also the fact that it's just a means of facilitating collection and payment. And now, and that's in its traditional form. Now this is where we are. Every life point of an individual, of a client, or of a business, we have other players who are already providing that services to the client. And this is what we traditional banks used to believe that it was our ordained playing field. No one could come in. I heard Kuda in his presentation talking about how even some banks, I believe, are finding it difficult to accept that this space now have other players, but it's been unbundled and it's been distracted. So, in talking about the future of banking, I was in 2030, this will be have been something like we'll get more of that. But in terms of how the services are delivered, who we deliver it for, the technology. Thank you. So I believe we've seen this. This is in 2022 now. Um, these are how certain bank branches look like in this world. We have banking in the metaverse, HSBC taking a space, MTN, and all those things. So the evolution of banking, as anybody would have thought of some years ago, is actually here with us now. So when we talk about machine learning, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, data, everything, that's as part of the future of banking, as part of the future that is changing how we provide financial services or how our clients experience us. I believe we are here and now. It's happening. All these tools and all these analytics and technology is being used to deliver financial services one way or the other, either by traditional banks or even by our partners like the neobanks and big techs as well as the fintechs. So for me, I looked at the fact that we already if you talk about 2030, this is 8 years from now. So I tend to look at it from even 8 years from now. Would we have the word banking? Would that be even a term for us? Would there be where we would still be described as traditional banks, or will still be described as we are rendering banking services? Would that even be necessary? We are in a world where data is gradually becoming a currency for our kids. What would that do to banking? When it comes to that technology, so if we are using the future of banking and linking it to the technology that we're going to use to deliver the services or the technology that clients are going to use to experience us, then I would say we are already being distracted. We are already here. And there are new inventions that is coming in every day. However, the client journeys as it pertains, that why would the customer or why would the clients want to have a financial connection or a financial service? How would they like to experience that? I believe that that will still be there. So I tend to look at the future as in taking what customers will experience or what customers will expect for in terms of supporting their financial goals. And if that is what they will use to choose and will still be used to call us for instance, as banks or as financial service providers. Then we need to look at what their experience or what their expectations will be like. So for instance, our customers, and from now till I believe in the future, we will still be having customers who would like us to connect with them, but connect with them by respecting their individual values and by respecting their individuality in everything that we do, by not doing one size fits all products, but by looking at what is of value to them and delivering it as such. So there will be harnessing on the existing technology of data profiling, will be harnessing the customization and personalization that is required to deliver that connection. So they're not expecting that we bank them, but they're expecting that we connect with them. Thank you very much. And my apologies once again. So I spoke about connecting with our clients, which I believe will still be one of the human interventions, or that will still be available going into as we experience banking in 2030. We talk about, and like I said, when we talk about banking, it's more or less collection and lending. So normally we would say it's deposit and lending. There are in between that, there are other things that is happening within the ecosystem. And I believe all those also started with the introduction of new players and some of the changes that we're seeing in 2030. I see that we're going to have not as we will have to come to the table not just to finance but to support a particular to support niches, to support things that will impact the world, to support things that will impact lives. And it will then be driven mostly by what is in it for us per se, but it will be on the total contribution and the total benefits to the community that we play. We believe that at a point, we might have we as banks stepping aside or playing the roles as facilitators, referees, or players or orchestrators, but we wouldn't be the main body that will provide these supports to our clients. So there will be more of the P2P, B2B, B2C. There will be more of orchestrations by leveraging on what we're good at, depending on the kind of the part you want to play as a bank. In terms of saving, believe that it will be more of how we predict the creation of wealth. Because now we look at it from loyalty programs. We look at it that once you provide a seamless payment platform to someone, then you helping the person to save. But it's about imagining how we even consider time as a means of a currency, and that by seamlessly and by delivering a service in a timely, seamless, and in a frictionless manner, you are helping the individual to create wealth. It is the belief that through technology, we will be able to really make customers more comfortable determining and determining how they want their wealth to be created, how they want the wealth to be used, how they want and where they want to keep their monies. And it wouldn't be just the kind of monies that we are used to. Like I said, everything that becomes a currency, we have to be available, we have to be ready through the use of technology to provide that support to our clients. It's more about, like I said, the technology part, the ever-changing interaction and experience we already are having. We are in that world now, but to have that connection and that meaningful humanity way of delivering something as cumbersome and something as traditional as banking will mean that we need to really know our customers. And we also will have to teach and be predictive and guide. And using these tools, these are the roles that we will have to play as banks to make sure that we are providing this kind of services to our clients. So banking in 2020 in 2030 will be how well you know your customers, how well you are able to predict the future, and how well you're able to put yourself in the customer's life event and provide what is needed. There will be more guidance in terms of the use of money, in terms of the creation of money, and in terms of the using money to support build that sustainable world. And we have to be there to lead that way. And I believe the same applies to empowerment. Protection is also one of the critical things that we will have to, and it will evolve with a lot of technologies that we have. And it's because as we get into the fast changing Internet of Things, data and all those things, we need to use the big brands that we have to protect the vulnerabilities that we have in our new world. So for me, when I think, sorry, I think this, okay. So when I think of the future of banking, I'm also saying that we need to look at the future of work. And as bankers, because it has, even our work environment has changed, now it's about expression and it's about people communicating with us. Banking is no longer where clients go. Banking is where clients experience. A bank used to be where we will walk and go and sit and hope and pray that we will meet a very good customer service person who is not in a bad mood and will serve us well. Currently, I believe, and we really, even in Africa, we've changed to the banking being a place where you experience, and it's not a physical unit. It is actually whether through your apps, whether through your whether it's being done through the phone, whether it's being done through your laptop, wherever it is, even in the virtual world, whatever it is how you are being experienced. And being with that, it's also because of how the future of work is also changing. It's changing the operating model of banks. Hence, we believe that time will come, you won't find bankers sitting in branches again. It means that we also have to reimagine how we interact and connect and use every point that we have to do that. And also the flexibility of the future of work is also going to be transformed or transferred into banking. And with this, we need the new talent. The youth we have to create space for them to be, even in the traditional banking sector, we have to create a space that allows them to create, to innovate, and to be nimble, so that we are able to change how banking will be experienced going forward. So I would say that it's about how we will connect as how we connect to each other, how we connect in a human interactive world. Banking in 2030, for me, is going to be more along the lines of traditional banks connecting and orchestrating the whole ecosystem and making sure that with the wealth of knowledge and the wealth of experience and even the legacy systems that haven't really helped, but also have also been able to use to save a lot of things that would have happened to people's monies and people's lives because of the how fast things are changing. It's how we're going to leverage on all this to really impact humanity. So the essence of humanity, the expression of connection and the means of interchange will be what I believe will remain and will continue in 2030. When I think about technology and all those things, I believe they are all here there. We already have that. We already have the players. We already have the collaborators. We already have the partners. We already have the partners. We are in here now. So it's how we connect all these tools together to make sure that we deliver the services that we deliver in a very humanic and in a very humane way. I believe one other factor probably that I should touch on is how we bring our regulators along. By ensuring that as we move in and as we evolve in and as we orchestrating this, we do not leave our regulators behind. So in 2030, I believe that the traditional banks should actually be leading the orchestra and making sure that our customers are interacting in financial services in a way that they determine as the best and in the way that they want it to be. But by making sure as banks, it is not about what is in it for us, it is about also our skin in the game to deliver that connection. Thank you very much.